Yeah, just let you know. So this lesson will be recorded. So guys, yeah. Have you got any unit in your mind about times? I give you some examples like hours, minutes, and seconds. Apart from this, yeah. So you can, yeah, right. So uh, right. Let's just quickly go through because we got quite a lot to talk about. But I know I'm sure you guys definitely got a lot of units in your mind, a lot of apart from hours, minutes, and seconds, you can think of a lot of others. But so yeah, so I'm sure you guys got a lot of ideas. But let's quickly go through because we got quite a lot to talk about. So right, so we already discussed this minute, hour, and also day, right? So day is a big unit, and can you see that you want to convert between these units about time is not as easy as the unit we talked about last week. Because can you see that it's not simply times 10 times 100 times a thousand like that. Look, they got different like converting rates. For example, there was 60 seconds in a minute, and there was 6 minutes in an hour. And when we talk about hour today, it's 24 hours. They're all different. Yeah, so that's why it's more complicated. Then so um the time describing even longer than a day. So you can use week. So there are 7 days in a week. And also, of course, you're gonna know like each day, the name of each day. I think everybody knows that, but you need to know that. Why? Because they could say they could say from Monday to Wednesday, then you're gonna know if anybody say from Monday to Wednesday, they're talking about 3 days. Okay. Or they say Monday to Thursday, then he's talking about 4 days. So you need to also familiar with the name of each day throughout the week. Okay. So in total, about 7 days in a week. Okay. Now, of course, we have months, right? So we got 12 months in a year. Then you're gonna be familiar with this, say like the name of each month. Okay, because the same reason they could say from January to May, then you're gonna know we're talking about 5 months. Okay, and so yeah, here. So there are different days in each month. Okay, so is that actually there is a method to remember this, which is counting knuckles. Not sure whether you know that. So yeah, basically, so you have like January. Let me just take the months that has got the most number of days. Monday, March. So sorry, January, March, May, July, August, October, December, and these months they got 31 days in each month. So I like to call them like big months because they got longer days, slightly longer days than that more days in these months compared to other months. And then so we have so April, June, so September, November, and these are I call them small months because they got just 1 day less compared to the other months. And we have one month that is so special. That's so February. So February, most of the year, in most of the year, we call in most of the year, like we got ordinary years, and they got 28 days, so which is a lot less compared to other months. And then also, this type of a year called leap year, and they say in February they got 29 days. Okay, so that's why because February different days in different dates in leap year. They got actually 1 day more in leap year. So that's why throughout the whole year, how many days are there throughout the whole year? So you are talking about ordinary year, so it should be 365 days. But if you talk about leap year, you should have 366 days. That is because the February has got one more days. Um, how to figure out whether if I give a date, how to figure out whether the year is a leap year or not is very complicated. Okay, so there's a very complicated equation. You can figure it out. There's a method that you can use to figure it out, but don't worry about it. So 11 plus wouldn't test you, but you just roughly, you can know roughly, like every 4 years, so you should have like 1 out of the 4 years. So I mean that year's leap year, but it's not accurate. So that there are some there are some exemptions. But you can roughly know that every 4 years you got 1 year, like 1 out of 4 is a leap year. But anyway, don't worry too much. You don't. You, no, there won't be any question. They're asking to figure out whether the given year is a leap year or not. But if they specifically indicate the year they're talking about is a leap year, all you need to know is a leap year should have 1 day more than ordinary years. So, well, of course, leap year should have 6 days. Why? That days actually has been added to February. February has got 29 days rather than 28 days in leap year compared to ordinary. Right. Then we talk about, say, let's just quickly review the units we talk about time. Second is the smallest. Then we talk about minute, hour, day, week, month, year. Okay, so and you need to know how to convert them, right? And then so we have even bigger units, decades. Say, 1 decade is 10 years, and a century. So 1 century is 100 years, and 1 millennium, say, is 1,000 years. You could they could give you these terms. Say every time you see this term, you know how long they're talking about. They're really big giant units talking about time, right? So and then of course about time. So these are just the so you probably know why we need a specific lesson to focus on the unit of time because it's so complicated compared to other like length, mass, and volume we discussed last week. So only about time you have how many so many different units you can use to describe. Okay. And apart from that, you need to for example, if I say 1 hour, how many minutes are there? You know the 60 minutes, and how many seconds are there in 1 hour? And you have to do multiplication, right? 6 times 6, actually 3,600 seconds. There are 306,000 seconds are there in 1 hour. Yeah, so you need to we'll practice the question like that in terms of converting different units about time. Right? And also apart from converted units, more common type of question in 11 plus exam is about watch. Okay, you need to know how to read words. I think we know how to read words probably since year one. So yeah, but you still need to be careful because you have to be accurate. I will show you some exam type of questions. So you need to basically just you need to know the hour hand difference between hour hand and minute hand. You can see, so this is we call analog type of watch or clock. They put the number there, 1 to 12. And then just remember, when you talk about hour, you read this number. For example, the hour hand, which is the shorter one. Of course, everybody know that. The short and fat one is the hour hand. When you read, you always start from the hour hand. And here, the hour hand is 0.95. Hour hand, you just simply read the number. Okay, so it's pretty easy to read hour hand. So it's pretty easy to read a clock about hours. But when you read minutes, you need to times 5. So for example, of course, so this is just 0 because it's 12. 12 times 5 is 60, but it's just because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So every 1 hour hand go all the way all around, and it go back to another hour. Of course, then so it's counted from 0. Right. Let's take this as an example. So you can see B. If I'm asking what time is it, then so our hand is still passing 12. It's definitely 12. It's very easy to read. And about minute, look, it's pointing at 5. But be careful, it's not 5. When you read minute hand, you're gonna times another 5. Yeah, it's actually a lot of 5. So 5 lots of 5. Okay, then so it's actually 25. Okay, so when you read the minute hand, you're gonna times 5. You can always times 5. Okay. Yeah, just be careful about that. And also it could be they could pointing at somewhere between. I'll show you. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, just here I just talk about the method and then I'll go through the like questions. Okay. And also another thing about these analog this number type of clock or watches. They these watches you wouldn't be able to tell whether it's morning or evening because they're all 12 hours. They're all 12 hours one. So for example, if you read B, so you know it's 25 minutes past 12, or you wouldn't be able to figure out whether it's talking about morning, is it like very early in the morning, of course, or in the afternoon. so you can't tell unless they tells you. Unless they tell you that this is about maybe just past midnight. Now, of course, this is gonna be really early in the morning. You can say 00:25. Okay, so you can write this way, or it could be afternoon. So if this 12 o'clock is talking about noon, then it's the afternoon. So from this watch, you won't be able to, unless they tells you, or so you won't be able to know whether it's in morning or. So that's why it's called 12 hours clock. So you can't figure out whether it's morning, uh, or afternoon looking at the clock itself. So unless they tells you, okay, right. And another type of clock, of course, these are some other type of clock, and this is the same actually, but they use Roman numerals. Of course, there's a mistake here. So four normally they shouldn't write like that. They should write this way, right? Yeah, but in some clock they just keep the mistake like that because the correct way should be like this. Okay, so that's four. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, and just to let you know, so some watch in the 11 plus exam they might give you a watch with Roman numerals, and but it's quite easy. It need to know how to show 1 to 12 in the Roman numeral. And another one is digital watch. And this one, so this digital watch, they can tell you whether it's in the morning or like in the morning they can say AM, and in afternoon they can say PM. And also they can also use something called 24 hours. They can show you 24 hours time. So what does that mean? So in 24 hours time, they wouldn't show you AM or PM. But if it's in the afternoon, they wouldn't say like 1:32. They would do 13:32. Does it make sense? Because you can use 24 hours, or 24 hours time or 24 hours clock. So it's actually the same thing. So if they don't if it's digital watch or digital clock, if it doesn't show AM or PM, then so that means the digital clock is showing 24 hours clock or 24 hours time. Then to tell whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, you just see the hours. So if the hours are bigger than 12, then it's definitely going to be in the afternoon. If there's no PM here, then that's definitely like very early in the morning. It's like actually AM. Right? So just these are just some subject knowledge that's about the time. So I just quickly went through. Now we can move on to the question. Uh,
Can I go to the toilet, please?
but the toilet, yeah, you can, yeah. You go to the toilet, make up. Right, say, just give me a second. Wanna some question. Okay. So just got some. I show some questions about reading a clock. Uh, to open it. Right, not this. Yeah, we'll come back to this one. We'll come back. I'll show you the clock one. Like in an exam, they could give you they could give you questions like this. Give you a clock and ask you to figure out the time. Oh, be careful about this. So there were a couple of things very easy to make a mistake. So I want to show you. Uh, let's see this one. So read time, and they want you to based on the clock and write down the time. Okay, so um, okay. So first of all, um, yeah, so here it's not clear, but I want to tell you. So normally that in this case, they put a noon here and a midnight here, but which is a bit confusing. But most of the time, say that so it's very likely they can put noon here. If I put noon here, so what that means is 12 o'clock on this clock is actually lunchtime. Say if they put noon here, so that means this is lunchtime. Then if this is a lunchtime, then what time is showing us here? Let's read. So we read our clock first. So it's 2 hours. And then so look here, you need to be careful. When we read the minute, look, it's somewhere between 1 and 2, but it's not exactly on 1. It's actually 1 point something. You see that? Now here you need to be careful. So you have to it's up to you. So how you deal with it. You can do the timetable thing first. So when we read the minute hand, so we need times 5. So that means 1 is actually not 1, it's actually 5. And 2 is actually not 2, it's actually 2 times 5. It should be 10. And then can you see from 5 to 10, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Has been equally split into 5 say little distance here. So that means each distance here, when we talk about the mini hand, is actually 1 minute. That makes sense. So that's why can you see this is actually just like one little unit distance, like more than 1. So that should be 5 plus 1 minute, which is 6. So that means the time have to be as accurate as that. Okay. So if they show you this little like scale thing, then you have to be as accurate as that. Then so it's gonna be 6 minutes past 2. And also, is they could put a noon here. If they put noon here, so that means this is in the say this is actually afternoon because after that, then you can put if you want to write the time, so you can put PM here, which is the afternoon. So if you want to write in like digital way, that is this, or you can use 24 hours. You can write 14 6 minutes past 2 is 14:06. Okay, they're the same thing. Okay, if you've got any questions, let me know. Okay, so here, yeah. Then they could also put if they change that noon to, if let's just change it. If they put this as a midnight, it's very likely they do that. They put midnight. They say midnight. Now what happened is this is gonna be really early in the morning. Then so when you write it in a say like 12 hours clock way, then that's gonna be AM. Right. If they put midnight there, then that must be AM. And then of course you could if you do say the uh 24 hours clock, then so this one just simply just 2. Yeah, and then you don't have to put anything here, but you should indicate this is 24-hour clock. But trust me, so in the exam, the question will be very, very clear. They wouldn't they would definitely look, say if they want you to show your final answer, they would clearly indicate in the answer what kind of form is required. They should clearly indicate, please write down your answer in 24-hour clock or in 12 hours clock. They could clearly indicate. They must. So I mean, the exam question must be as accurate as that. Okay. So yeah, of course, in the exam, that we focus on the exam technique. But just don't worry about these things. But if just in case, if any question is not clear, you can ask. Right, you can just raise your hand. Of course, you can't ask the examiner so the answer of the question, but if the question is not clear, then you can ask. So yeah, so just be brave. So and then so don't worry about it. They're gonna be it's very like common to have problem about the question. Okay. Anyway, we can practice one. Let's see. So I do one. Okay, let's do 3. But I want to make it very clear. Okay, so I want to tell you in this case. So this is noon. Say the 12. I put noon here. So the 12 o'clock is the noon. And then, so I want you to show your answer in 20, so in no, in 12 hours clock. 12 hours clock. Okay. Can we do 3? Yeah, be careful about it. I just let you know. So your final answer, you should show me 12 hours clock, like the digital way. Then of course you're gonna show me whether it's AM or PM. Then also say I want to tell you in this clock, say that 12 o'clock is actually noon, it's actually lunchtime, and what time is showing on that clock. Can you figure it out? If you got an answer, you can share it in the chat. So, it Isabel, have you got a question, Isabel? Isabella, I think you did you raise your hand? No, right, okay, right, fine. Okay, I'll just try. Right, let's do one more. Okay, let's do this one as well. And I want to make this one. I want to make this midnight. In this case, this is midnight. Okay, and now I want you to show this case. I want you to 24 hours clock. I mean, use 24 hours clock way to show your final answer. Let's try question 3 and question 4. Okay, so I give you like 20 seconds more. Yeah, if you are online, like Ricky and Terence, you can when you if you got an answer, you can share it in the chat. Okay, and let me have a look. Okay, and I say the two of you in the center. So I know Isabella and Francis. So could you swap your sheet? Yeah, yeah, just swap your sheet. Yeah, and I want you to mark, right? Right. Let me have a look. So I just put the answer here. Yeah. See. Yeah. So yeah, you do swap the sheet and then see whether you can like do a little bit of marking to see whether you got both of the question correct or let let's see. Say this one because it's known, of course. This definitely going to be afternoon, and then it's the hour clock is 12, right? See, right, 12. Yeah, and the mini hand is up to you. So you can. So what I would do is, I just use the 5 timetable first. So 1 is actually 5, right? Because when you talk about mini hand, you have to times 5, and 2 actually is 10. Then the same. So from 1 to 2 is being equally split into 5 parts, and then this one is pointing at the third one. So that's 5. That's gonna be 6, 7, 8. So it's gonna be say 8 minutes past 12. And also I want you to use 12 hours clock. And pretty obviously this is the afternoon, so that's gonna be PM. Yeah. Have you got it right? So the correct answer should be say 8 minutes after, say 8 minutes past 12. And also don't forget that PM. Okay. So because I clearly indicate that you have to use 12 hours clock. So yeah, so then you're gonna input the PM here. Okay. And then so let's see this one. This is at midnight. Of course, if this is midnight, then let's also 24 hours clock. Let's do the hour hand first. The hour hand is going passing 10, so it's 10. And then the mini hand. Let's see the mini hand. So mini hand is between 9 and 10. I like to do that. The five times table first. So 9 is actually 9 times 5 is a 45 minute, and 10 of course is 50 minute, and it's between here. Of course, the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 49, right? And you see that one is pointing somewhere between 9 and 10, or somewhere between 45 minutes and 50 minutes, because mini hand you're gonna run times 5. And then so from 9 to 10, from 45 to 50 has been equally split into 5 equal distance. So that means each little distance, each unit distance here is representing 1 minute. So that's why we added 4 minutes. So it's this. Now it's not finished yet, because I said 24 hours clock, and that's midnight, then you're gonna have to add out of 12. It's actually the correct answer for this one should be 22. You have to add up 12 because you can't actually it's midnight, yeah. So it's actually so look, if it's 12 o'clock, so it's actually midnight. Midnight is 0 o'clock, right? It's the 00, or you can see 24:00. It's actually the same thing. So that's why so if you use 24 hours clock, then that's 10 o'clock should be so 22. So that's actually the final answer. It's pretty hard, this one. Look, everybody know how to read it, but if you get this one right, that's absolutely brilliant. It's actually quite a hard question. It's very easy to make mistake. Okay, guys, so how you guys get along with it? Have you've got two both questions correct? Could you raise your hand? Isabella, so how about so Francis? Did Francis got those correct?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So yeah, let me just highlight the correct answer. Question 3, the correct answer should be this. 8 minutes past 12 as a PM. You're gonna have to put PM there. Okay. And then the question 4 say should be 22 and 49 because it's 24 hours clock. Are you all happy about this? Yeah, I give you like homework sheet and you can practice at home. Yeah. Be careful because yeah, that's why say from the previous year's example, so from the previous year's experience, some pupils, some students, after the exam, they felt so confident. I mean, they felt so like so they're actually expecting very high mark because they thought they did well, but when they get the actual mark, they didn't get the mark they're expecting is because of the little mistake like this. Because this, of course, the reading clock is very easy, but the exam question they would just put a lot of like places say basically they're testing how careful you are when reading the questions. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. Say yeah. We'll practice at home. So we got a couple more. So I'll send this to you. So that you can practice at home. Now let's see other type of exam questions. Let me close that. I think that's pretty easy, right? So we just quickly go through because um in the exam there were loads of questions as easy as this one. Okay, so don't worry about it. I would say like 80% questions are quite basic. You look here to show 22.6 say on the clock. Basically, when you are dealing with this question, don't look down upon this question. Still, it's easy, but it's also easy to make mistakes. So when you see this, then what I want you to do is I want you to write it like digital way. So 22.6 is actually 540. 540. Okay. Then of course they are then you're gonna do the hour hand first. No, you can now it's up to you actually. So you yeah, it's up to you. You can do mini hands as well. So 40, but just remember the mini hands is 5 times table. Then in this case, you have divided by 5 to figure out what number your longer hand, the mini hand, can point to. So 40 divided by 5 is 8, right? So instead of pointing at 8, you can do mini hand first, make it longer. And then 5, of course, here just be careful about it. Say, you wouldn't pointing at 5 because it's already look, it's 26. So that means it's gonna be quite close to 6. In this case, don't worry too much about it because they don't have the like finer scale here. And then just roughly. So if they put some finer scale there, then you're going to be careful. You're going to have to be more accurate. But here, there's no finer scale. As long as you put your hand somewhere between 5 and 6 and make it over the middle point, because the 40 minutes is already past the middle point, just roughly. So you can do this, just roughly, and then you'll be able to get all the marks. Well, I would say in the exam, so it's very unlikely they're going to give you a clock like that. It's more likely to be like this. They're going to show you some finer scale, right? And then because they want to, this question actually is very basic, but it's very easy to make mistake. It's just those details. Okay. But here so what time shown? I think that's pretty easy, right? So yeah. And also here, yeah. In the exam, they're gonna make it clear. They could either put noon here, or they could put midnight. So, right. Let's see if it's noon. Now, of course, this is the afternoon. So it's actually 4, and also there's a mistake here. So it's actually, we do our hands 4, and then so in this case it's easy because it's right pointing at 1. Then just 5 times table 5, right? And then you can write it's 5 minutes past 4, or say 5 minutes past 4. If it's a noon, so yeah, of course, in this case, you can write this way. Or if they want you to write in digital form, that it's going to be 4:05. And then if it's, because that's noon, so it's afternoon PM. Or if it's, so that's actually 12 hours clock, 12 hours clock. And you want to do 24 hours clock, then that's going to be 16:05. Just be careful. Let's see what question asks. Sure, you'll find the answer. The form of the final answer. Let's move on. Okay, let's see this one. So yeah, now I want you guys to try these questions. So a television program begins at 7:30 p.m. Okay, so it's 12 hours clock. Be careful. And the television program ends at, this is also 12 hours clock. And then, so how long? Okay, yeah, I want you to figure it out. So these are really typical exam type of questions. That is, you are definitely so it's very likely. So in your exam, they would give you a question like that. Basically, just like they give you 2 times and ask you, so how many hours and minutes are there between the two times? How long last? You can, so basically just you can write how many hours and how many minutes. Can you figure it out? Of course, in this case, it's actually it's not that hard, but they could make it more like even more challenging. So, guys, so I want to talk about a method. I know there was like alternative way to solve this, but I would say that the most effective way, say, is use column subtraction. Okay, so like when we do the subtraction, so we use column subtraction. Here you can also use column subtraction, or in this case, the column, instead of 1 column, 10 column, 100 column, so you actually end up with our column and mini column. Let me just show you. You can do our column here. So that's our column and a mini column here. Okay. And then, so normally, so if they're both PM, so that's fine. So they could make it more challenging, make 1 a.m., 1 p.m. I'll talk about how to deal with that. Because they're both in the afternoon, then so you don't have to convert them because they're both in the afternoon. You put the ending time here on top. So our column is 8, mini column is 15. And then taking away, so our column, so the beginning time, our column is 7 and mini column is 30. And then we just do column subtraction. And of course, 15 take away 30, you can't do it because that's a smaller number. And you have to exchange. So let me use different color. You can exchange 1 hour from that. So that becomes 7. And of course, this one, be careful here. There was 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that 50, you're gonna add 60 rather than add 100. So that place very easy to make mistake. When you exchange 1 hour to minute column, then you're gonna end up with 15 plus 60. So it's gonna be 75. That makes sense? And now of course now you can do some subtraction now. So 75 take away 30 is a 45. Then 7 take away 7 is a 0. Now, of course, eventually you got 45 minutes. So it's actually 0 hour, 45 minutes. So that means that the television program lasts 45 minutes. Okay. It makes sense? Yeah. Right. Look. So I wanna make it more challenging. So let's see. So I want you to figure out if I change that. Let me yeah, this is we need to practice a bit more about this. How about let's see. Can you figure out figure out how many hours and minutes are there between okay let's see, I want to make it challenging. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. How about between 7 no 45 a.m. and 2 15 p.m. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, figure out how many hours and minutes are there between say these two times. Yeah, let me make it bigger. Say, I'm not sure whether it's. Oh, sorry, I make it smaller. Yeah, make it bigger. Okay, so can you figure out that? Figure out how many hours and minutes are there between these two times. If you got an answer, you can. You've got answer. If you're online, then you can share it. Say in the chat. You can put the answer in the chat. Ricky, if you got an answer, you can share it in the chat. And also Terence, if you got an answer, you can share it in the chat. But be careful. It's very easy to make mistake. You can use the method I talk about, like column subtraction. Uh, Francis and Isabella, have you two done? Yeah. Could you swap again? You can swap your sheets and then say just mark you just mark with each other and see whether you got it right. Right. Let's yeah. Let's talk about this. Yeah, I show the answer later. Okay, but I want to talk about the method. So I would personally highly recommend the method I just introduced, which is a column subtraction. You're gonna definitely have it. I'm expecting, so it's very likely. So in a 11 plus exam, they give you a question like that. Just give it 2 times and figure out how many hours and minutes are there between the two times. They could make it more interesting. They could say like a bus started at time for example from Liverpool drive down to London and it started at this time and ended at that time. And then so can you figure out how long the train or bus to take from Liverpool to Manchester? They can make a background story that for say what they're asking is basically just give you 2 times and ask you to figure out how. Then question like that, so use the colon subtraction. Okay, so it's purple maybe. Okay, right. But in this case, so it's slightly more complicated. Look, they got different. Oh, make it bigger. So they have got different. They're one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So if they are not the same, if they're both PM or both AM, then you don't have to do anything. But if they are, so 1 AM, 1 PM, so the first thing to do, step one, the first thing to do is make them all 24 hours clock. 24 hours clock. Okay. Now, of course, so the AM one, you don't have to do anything. So it's still that. But PM one, so you're gonna convert that to say PM is actually equivalent to 14, right? So and that's the first thing to do. You're gonna say make them 24 hours. Long. And then let's move on to step two. Step two, use colon subtraction. Use colon subtraction. Okay, we got say hour colon, we got minute colon, and then now we're gonna write the 24 hours clock. So that's the ending time. That's the ending time is 14. And then taking away say the starting time. 5, and we do something. Okay, and of course here we can't taking away because that's smaller than this. Now we have to exchange. 30. And that one, look, we're gonna add up 60. So because there were 60 minutes in 1 hour, you exchange 1 hour to minute column from our column to minute column, then you're gonna add up 60. Say that become 60 plus 75. Yeah, so 15. Yeah, and then 75 take away this. So then you can continue calculating. So they're gonna become 30 minutes, and an hour's gonna be so 13 take away 9. That's gonna be 4. Then so the final answer is so how many hours and minutes between these two times? They're gonna be 4 hours and 30 minutes. Have you got it right? Yeah. So that's the answer. Yeah. Francis and Isabella.
Yeah.
Have you got it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Brilliant. So yeah. So yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. So yeah. Let's move on. Yeah, so I think that these questions are pretty easy. Basically, these are not exam type of questions. They just kind of subject knowledge review things. Yeah, I'll just quickly go through. How many seconds are there in one? Of course, 60. Now, how many minutes? I think we'll quickly go through that. Because there's no need because I already talked about it. Let's just quickly go through. We still got about a few minutes. Let's move on to some challenging questions. I think these we already practiced just about the clock. Let's yeah. Yeah. So this is another type of questions. So this is the same as like giving you 2 times and ask you to figure out that like how many say how long between the two times. Basically, of course, they change the way to ask you question. They say the clock showing this time, and so how long it to 2 p.m. Basically, you just need to figure out how many hours and minutes between these 2 times. Now, of course, let's just quickly use the method I talk about. So like you got hour colon, mini colon. So they're both PM, so you don't have to convert them to 24 hours clock. Yeah. So it's just 2 p.m. Of course, 20. Take away 132, and then of course you can exchange. Let's just taking away. Let's do exchange. So that becomes 1, and of course that becomes 60. The 60 take away 32 is 28, and that's 0. So that means just 28 minutes. And that's the answer. Yeah, I believe that's the same. So you see there were loads of questions asked you to figure out like how many hours and minutes between. So here is the same. Yeah. So yeah, I think I skipped that because yeah. Uh, let's just go. Okay. Let's see this one. Let's see the question 11. Let's see question 11. So these are interesting question. Let's see. So Lauren has split ink on her calendar. Okay, so this is a calendar, but calendar has been covered. Of course, it could be June or it could be July. So which one it should be then? Can you see that? Say, can you figure out whether it's June or July? Yes, our friends say,
I think I know what the answer is.
no, yeah. So is it June or July? Say,
I think it's June.
you think it's June? Why? Why is June?
Because there are only 30 days.
Very good, very good. Yes. So, look. So July is so-called. I like to call it the big month. So July should have 31 days. But can you see here in this calendar, it has got only 30 days. It must be June. So it can't be July because you can see the first two letters. But in the 12 months, only June and July started with JU. But it can't be July because July should have 31 days. So that's why. Yeah. Brilliant. So that's why I say you need to be familiar with like each month. Yeah. So yeah, the answer is June. Brilliant. Let's see what the second question. Okay. And what day is say 7? Oh right. So it's 7 is 17th. I think that's pretty easy. But just let me just make it smaller. So, I need to see the whole picture. And basically, it just asks you how to read the calendar. So, what day is 17? Easy. It's actually you're gonna see these, right? Yeah, basically, look, 17 is like all you're gonna read the column. So about the calendar. So the column actually tells us the day: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, say Sunday. Now, of course, 17 is pointing at T. Of course, the first is actually Thursday. Right, easy. Yeah, I think it's just because that's actually quite easy. You just don't be scared by a question show you a lot of things. But there are loads of questions in exam like that. So I call them like real life type of questions. So it look a bit scary because it looks like you're gonna read a lot of information, but it's actually say in terms of the maths, the subject about maths is actually easy. It's quite easy to figure it out. So don't just take your time. And another thing about the exam is you guys definitely gonna have enough time to finish all the questions. But from the previous year's experience, so we say I've been spoken to the like, previous years a student who already taken the exam. Then they told me in average they got at least 10 minutes. So they finished all the questions and they still got about 10 or 15 minutes left. So you guys definitely gonna have enough time. So just take your time. You just no need to hurry. Yeah, just take your time to read the questions so clearly. Right. That's pretty easy about. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see this one. Say yeah. Maybe we do last question, but this one is quite challenging actually. So let's see this. So in 1999, so the 28th September was a Tuesday. Can you figure out what day was in the same year, but on the 3rd October in the same year? It should say in the same year, also in 1999. Can you figure out what day it is? Yeah, I want you to think about this. So this is a challenging question. I give you a big clue so you can create a little like calendar things. like draft paper, you can create a little. Oh, and also, so this is another exam tips. So in exam, so your exam paper, they should have you should a little bit like this. So they give you a specific location, they give you a specific space for you to write on your final answer. But as you can see, they also got a lot of space around, a lot of room around the question, and these just allow you to put your work out. So you don't just try to show the examiner as many working hours as you can. Of course, you still need to make it clear, so to show the examiner where your final answer is, but make the best use of those like space, those area provided. So in the exam paper, you can show the examiner the method. Yeah, I think I talk about it because we're a bit running out of time. So here, you can create a little like so like calendar things. So let's say the calendar, let's see the September here. We know the 28th of September. So the corresponding day is Tuesday. Okay, that's Tuesday. Right. And of course the next day gonna be 29. Then pretty obviously the relevant day gonna be Tuesday, gonna be Wednesday, right? And the next day gonna be 30, and that's gonna be Thursday. Okay, now be careful. It's September. So September is a small month. It has got only 30 days. Then there's no 31st of September. So now the next day gonna be 01, because that's gonna move on to October. Now actually, so that's Friday. So actually the Friday is actually 1st of October. And then so 2nd of October, of course, is Saturday. And then say 3rd of October is actually Sunday. Am I right? So I think that should be right. Yeah, and then of course these 3 days are actually in September, and these 3 days they're actually in October. And of course the question asking what day it is, of course it's going to be Sunday, right? Does it make sense, guys? Yeah, so you can create a little calendar, a little bit like say here, this one. Of course, you don't have to make a complicated one. So you can use those say column to show the day, like the day of the week. Hey guys, yeah, I think I put I think that's pretty much everything I want to talk about for today's lesson. So we're focusing on time. I mean something knowledge about time. Yeah. So yeah. About the homework, I also upload a homework sheet, and then so just see how you deal with those homework questions, and then don't forget you try to do the homework, and also when you finish the homework, upload it to the WeChat, so the Zoom tab, so that I can download and mark for you, and so that I know how I can get some feedback from you guys to see so how you understand the subject knowledge. Okay, guys, I think that's everything for today. So yeah, and you all of you have a lovely weekend, and I see you guys next week. Bye bye, Francis. Bye bye, Isabella. Bye bye, Ricky, and where's Terence? Terence already left. Okay, bye bye, guys. Have a lovely
Can
weekend.
you,
Bye bye.
can you send the 2 weeks ago homework answers? My mum hasn't got them.
Sorry, can you say that again? Sorry, Ricky.
Can you send the answers for
Oh, the answer for the yeah, yeah.
2 weeks?
I I think I marked the homework, right? So normally I put the so the correct answer next to the question. So just give me a second.
My mum hasn't got it.
No, I think I remember I put the homework and I mark it. So just give me a second. Let me just double check. Can you still see the screen I'm sharing? Right, give me a second. So yeah, Ricky, I think let me just share the screen again. So uh so plus yeah, so yeah, sorry, just give me a few more seconds, and then because Ricky, I think I got your yeah, so I got yours. Then yeah, I actually mark it. Then uh yeah, so just wondering whether you received that. So I open this one. Have you received this? Yeah, I put the correct answer next to it.
No, the 2 weeks after.
2 weeks after. Are you talking about this one?
No,
No. So and this is the last week's homework. So Ricky,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Right, 2 weeks ago. Right. Let's have a. Okay, you wanna say right? Yeah. So then, just make sure I definitely received your homework. 2 weeks ago. Oh right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah. Is that the one you submitted on 28th of September? Sorry, I probably forgot to mark them because that's a while ago. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think I forgot that. So that I will mark it and then so I upload it. Uh, yeah. So just give me a second. Let me just open it. Just make sure that that's the one you're talking about. This one. So, Ricky, are you still around? So is this you talk about the
Yeah.
probability? Yeah. Okay. Good. So I will mark that. Yeah. And then so yeah, I will mark that and then so I'll upload it to the Zoom chat. Okay. So no problem. But also I will talk about that topic again because this is actually for the year 6 students. So yeah, but I'll repeat those subject knowledge. These are quite challenging. Yeah. So but yeah, so I will mark it. Have you got any other questions, guys?
No.
No, cool. And you all have a lovely weekend then. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.